Your gut is rotting right now. Not metaphorically, right now as you sit here, the lining of your intestines is either healing itself or falling apart. And the difference between those two outcomes comes down to one daily routine. A routine so simple your doctor never thinks to mention it. But the research is clear. People who follow it consistently reverse years of gut damage. People who skip it accelerate a chain reaction that does not stay in the gut. It spreads to your joints, your brain, your immune system, your energy. What makes this especially difficult is that most people in your age group are already deep in the wrong direction without realizing it. Constipation that you have just learned to live with, bloating after meals that used to be fine, fatigue that hits 30 minutes after you eat, food your body handled easily at 50 that is suddenly causing problems at 65 or 70. Those are not random inconveniences. Those are distress signals. Your gut has been trying to tell you something for years. Today, we are going to hear it. Before we go any further, if you want science like this every week, the kind your doctor genuinely has no time to cover in a 15-minute appointment, subscribe right now. It costs nothing and it keeps this channel going. Here's what almost nobody understands about the gut. It is not a passive tube that food passes through. It's a living, constantly renewing structure. A study published in the Annual Review of Physiology confirmed that the entire lining of the mammalian intestine is replaced every 4 to 5 days. Every cell covering that surface right now will be gone by next week. New ones will have formed and taken their place. Your body runs this full rebuild continuously. It's been doing it your entire life. The problem is that rebuild requires specific raw materials, and most people over 60 are not supplying them. Not because they're eating badly by choice, because the gut itself has been inflamed long enough that absorption is compromised. The system trying to repair itself cannot pull in what it needs to do the repair. Here's exactly how the spiral forms. When the gut lining becomes inflamed, the tight junctions between intestinal cells begin to loosen. Those junctions work like grout between bathroom tiles. When the grout is intact, nothing passes through that should not. When it starts to fail, bacteria seeps through. Partially digested food proteins enter the bloodstream. Your immune system identifies those proteins as foreign and attacks. Then it keeps attacking, not just in the gut, systemically. That's when you start seeing the joint aches, the brain fog, the food sensitivities that nobody connects back to the gut. Here's where most people go wrong when they try to fix it. They take a probiotic, cut out bread, drink more water. None of those are useless, but none of them address what the lining needs to physically close back up and stay closed. The gut lining runs on specific fuel. Take away that fuel and the rebuild slows down. Damage outpaces repair. Research published in Science Signaling showed that gut lining cells depend on a short-chain fatty acid called butyrate to maintain the barrier. When butyrate is absent, the cells lose the ability to sustain the tight junctions that keep the lining sealed. Your gut bacteria produce butyrate from one source only: fermentable dietary fiber. Not supplements, whole food fiber that arrives in your colon every single day. Cooked vegetables, legumes, oats, cooked and cooled potatoes. These are the materials the cells rebuilding your gut wall right now are waiting for. That's the foundation. Everything else in this routine builds on top of it. There's a window every morning that most people miss completely. Within the first 90 minutes of waking, your gut's motility reflex is at its peak. Motility means the rhythmic muscular contractions that move waste through your colon. This reflex has a specific name, the gastrocolic reflex. Medical literature, including a review from the National Center for Biotechnology Information, confirms it is most active in the morning and immediately after meals. You have felt it your entire adult life without knowing what it was. It's your gut doing exactly what it was designed to do. Here's what degrades that reflex over years. Two things: chronic low-level dehydration and a long habit of ignoring the signal when it comes. Every time you suppress that urge, the nerve endings that produce it become slightly less sensitive. Do that consistently for a decade, and the reflex weakens substantially. Your colon holds waste longer than it should. Bacteria ferments that waste. Inflammatory byproducts build. The lining you need to rebuild keeps getting hit from the inside. The correction happens before you eat anything. 16 ounces of water the moment you wake. Not coffee first, plain water first, cold or room temperature. This activates the gastrocolic reflex before you've consumed a single calorie. Then 10 minutes of movement, not a workout, walking around the block, moving through your home, stretching on the floor. Physical movement activates intestinal peristalsis independently of food. The two signals together, hydration and movement, restore the morning window your gut was built to use. People who do this consistently report normalized bowel movements within 2 weeks, not because of a new supplement, because they stopped blocking a mechanism that was already present and working. Most gut health advice ends at breakfast, but there is a second window that matters just as much. And what happens in it determines whether the food you ate all day repairs your gut lining or extends the inflammation through the night. Your gut runs its deepest cellular repair cycle while you sleep. Between roughly 10 in the evening and 2 in the morning, if conditions are right, the cells lining your intestines divide and regenerate at the highest rate of the entire day. The phrase that matters is, if conditions are right, because two very common habits in people over 60 actively block those conditions from forming. Late eating is the biggest one. When you eat within 2 to 3 hours of going to sleep, your digestive system diverts energy toward processing food rather than repairing tissue. Stomach acid stays elevated, the small intestine keeps working, the repair window shrinks or disappears. The second disruptor is what late eating does to cortisol. A study published in the Journal of Physiology and Pharmacology found that elevated cortisol disrupts the tight junction proteins in the gut lining, specifically the proteins occludin and claudin that hold the barrier together. A moderate blood sugar spike before bed keeps cortisol elevated overnight. Cortisol breaks the lining down while you sleep instead of letting it repair. The evening part of this routine has 2 rules. Stop eating at least 3 hours before sleep, and when you do eat in the evening, favor fermentable fiber over refined carbohydrate. Cooked and then cooled potatoes, lentils, chickpeas. These foods develop resistant starch once they cool down. Resistant starch ferments slowly in the colon. That fermentation feeds the bacteria that produce butyrate that physically rebuilds the lining while you rest. You are not overhauling your diet. You are adjusting the timing and type of one meal. That single adjustment is the difference between a gut that uses sleep to repair and one that spends the night being broken down. Here is the part that ties everything together, and it is the piece that surprises most people because it has nothing to do with food at all. None of what we have covered will fully work if your vagus nerve is not engaged. The vagus nerve is the main communication line between your brain and your gut. It runs from the base of your brain, down through your chest, and into your abdomen. It governs the rhythmic contractions of your intestines. It controls stomach acid output. It signals the immune cells embedded in your gut wall when to stand down. A 2016 study published in Neurogastroenterology and Motility found that modulating vagal tone through slow, deep breathing directly improved gastroduodenal motility in healthy subjects. And a systematic review published in 2025 in a gastroenterology journal confirmed that vagus nerve stimulation restores intestinal barrier function. When the vagus nerve signal is strong, the gut operates in coordination. When it is weak from chronic stress, poor sleep, or years of processed food disrupting the gut-brain connection, the gut loses that coordination entirely. The method that activates the vagus nerve without any equipment is diaphragmatic breathing. A 2020 review published in the International Journal of Environmental Health and Public Health confirmed that the diaphragm connects directly to the vagus nerve through the phrenic nerve pathway. Every deep, slow breath physically stimulates the nerve that runs the gut. 5 counts in through the nose, 5 counts out through the mouth. 10 cycles, twice a day. Once in the morning before your first meal, once in the evening after your last one. 4 minutes total. You feel it as calm settling over you, but what is happening inside is your gut receiving the signal to shift into repair mode. Without that signal, the fiber, the water, the food cutoff, all of it underperforms. Put it together: water and movement in the morning, high fiber food and an early cutoff in the evening. 2 brief breathing sessions to activate the nerve that coordinates everything else. No expensive supplements to begin, no dramatic life changes. 3 mechanisms built into your body finally being run the way they were designed. Most people over 60 with persistent gut problems are not broken. They are running a working system on years of neglect. And neglect, unlike structural damage, is something you can reverse. We covered what your gut needs to repair itself, but there's a video that connects directly to this one. Because here's what most people don't realize. Even after your gut lining starts healing, one specific type of food continues to damage your blood directly. Not your gut, your blood. And which food it is depends on your blood type. We already made that video. It's called The Worst Food for Your Blood. Watch it next. What we found surprised even us.